I've gotten back from the Trans-America Trail. It's been about 2 weeks, and my bike really did a spectacular job. These little CRF250Ls, I think they're a little bit underrated. So it did a fantastic job. So my next section of the trail, we were going to finish up the Ozarks and Warloo Road. It's a little rocky, starts to get rocky, go into Oklahoma and hit New Mexico and hit Colorado. So what I did is I ordered some from CRFs only, these frame guards right here, which are pretty nice looking, and they protect your frame. I did that on both sides. It looked pretty good, I think. And the other thing I did, I used to have a windshield that I mounted right in here. But every time I would fall or I'd drop over, I'd get it cracked. So I've done about 3 or 4 of those. So I installed what's called the Baja Works windscreen, which fits on your fairing right here. And when it falls, it doesn't hit, get that big impact that it normally does. So I think it looks pretty good too. So anyway, and when I'm at home, I use this case. I use it on my other 750X. And so if I'm going to go to the store or do something, I throw that on, and I keep my frames right here for my Nelson rig. Soft bags. I keep that on there, so when I do topple over occasionally, it protects it a little bit. I'm a little short. I'm like 5'7", but I have like a 27-inch inseam. So for this next trip, the only other thing I'm going to do to this bike is I've actually gone with the 130. If you guys haven't noticed, a 130 and these TR8 tires, man, those things are fantastic. That back tire works really well on this bike. I went up a tooth, since they're 130s, I went up a tooth on or 2 tooth on this rear sprocket. I have a 42 instead of the 40. Still use the 14. With the windscreen, I'm able to hit speeds. I'm able to hit about 82. I'm about 180 pounds, 190, 85, 90, somewhere around in that area. And with gear on, probably about 195. So that thing will hit 82 in this configuration, and it does pretty good on hill climbs. 13 tooth would be a little bit better, but I don't want to give up my, road speed. So, but I am. So I do like these IRC TR8 tires. I've got about 1,500 miles on them. They've wearing pretty good. The back's showing some signs of wear, as you can see, but I could probably get about 2,500 miles on them. But next year I'll replace that, and hopefully that'll still be good. One thing I do not like, when you put put in rim locks on this thing. I couldn't think of it for a second. Put rim locks in right here. You can tell where I have them in. You have to balance your wheels. They don't come from the factory balanced, but that's why I'm able to do as well as I can on the road. As I found out, if you balance those wheels, get that vibration down and that whoop whoop. This thing does pretty good. It's not like one of the larger bikes. If they're hitting, cruising at 80, you're not going to do that. You can comfortably about 65s to 70 all day long with this thing. But the only other thing I was alluding to, I was going to do, I'm going to change that out. I'm going to actually lower it a little bit, get me some bar risers, and lower this a little bit. Because when I have a hard time when I start to climb, climb and descend uneven terrain, I have a hard time getting the foot down, and what happens is I hit the point where, if I'm hit some real technical stuff, I start to wobble a little bit. I can't get my foot down, and down it goes. So I'm hoping it helps me there a little bit. But it's a real nice little bike. I am very impressed with what Honda's done. I love the 450L as well, but I don't really want to do all that maintenance on it. I actually could ride the 450L. I was surprised. I jumped on one, and it's a little taller than this, but still doable because it's so narrow. The thing about this that I really like is that wide seat. I like the engine. It's not the power that some of these guys want. You know, it doesn't have that power, that big punch, but it's enough for me anyway. And I like the lower maintenance on it. But this is a 2014. I've kept it in pretty good shape. I've got, you know, close to, you know, I guess 1800 miles off-road, just totally off-road. I don't get off a whole lot, you know, 2 or 3 times a year. I go do some gravel roads about like this that I do, you know, when I get to ride every time. But it's maybe a mile or 2 here and there. It's not like it's a whole lot, but I enjoy riding where other people aren't. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. So I'm just letting you know a few things that I've done with my bike, and if you're thinking about a little CRF250L or 450L, you know, both are awesome bikes, but don't think you have to jump up to that 450. Sometimes that more power is harder on off, you know, when you're off-road to deal with. But this bike is pretty sweet. I'm happy with it. And if you do like to jump though, and you really like to rip and run, then that 450 is probably for you. So I'm glad Honda makes a bike for all of us. Now I do wish Honda would put that CB300 engine in there, but I'm sure that's never going to happen because of the Middle East and because of that new 450L come out that's too close to classes, and you get too many bikes and you don't sell, you know, what you need. It's not worth making that many bikes. So probably stuck with the 250, but it's okay. It's alright. I almost traded it off when I bought my bigger bike, but I kept it. I'm glad I have 2 bikes now. I've got a 750X. But believe it or not, I would really have regretted selling this thing. This is my favorite, actually my favorite bike, even though, you know, I have this big 750. But this is pretty fun to ride. So anyway, this is some places that I get off-road a little bit, not a whole lot. You all have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed the video.